Times were tough, so I sold my soul. And I don't think I'll ever regain control. Devil looked me in the eye and I looked the other way. What else could I do? I just stared at the doorway. Knew I'd rather be drunk with you. I'd rather be drunk.
Hey Internet, Dracofunk here. And this is my 60 subscriber challenge as I fall off the airplane. Yeah, I kind of feel that way. So, this is Dracofunk's reusable space program, and my 60 subscriber challenge, I am going to be driving a rover to the North Pole. All the way to the North Pole, or at least attempting to do so. And as of today, November 2nd, we have actually surpassed 60 subscribers. We're at 61. So I'm doing this. And here's my rover. So I'm going to not do this alone. And by not do this alone, I mean, I'm going to take other Kerbals with me. So, I have designed this rover so, see that docking port? I can dock with other segments. And I'm going to head over to the parking lot by the astronaut complex and pick up some other segments that I happen to have parked there. So I can add some passengers. Now, I'm going to be doing this in segments, and I'm assuming I can do this in about 9 different segments. So I have assembled 8 intermediary bases and then 1 main base at the North Pole, which is our goal. So today, we are going to attempt to drive to a base that I dropped from an aircraft called Point Able. And that's because I named at least the first 2 after the Able Baker alphabet before switching to the standard military phonetic alphabet that we use today. In my previous episode where I did dropping bases, I said when I named off the bases, I used Epsilon for E, and that was incorrect. It's actually Echo. And I knew that. I named it Base Echo, and then I called it Epsilon because I was thinking of the Greek alphabet, which the military phonetic alphabet, they use some of the Greek alphabet, but other phrases. So, first point we're going to is Point Able. But before I can do that, I need to pick up the rest of the Highway 47 crew and also Bill. Bill is going to us for reasons which are in an episode that hasn't finished editing yet. Yeah, so that is the thing. So as you can see, I have a little, like a passenger, or if you're from the UK, a coach section, as well as that crew compartment that is going to act as the mobile Highway 47 recording studio. Once we reach Point Able, we will park for the evening, and it actually has some communications dishes that can deploy, and yeah, so we can have our little mobile recording studio. If you look very closely, you will notice that just in case one of our logos is upside down, because that might be something that hopefully it doesn't matter, but I put an upside down logo on there just in case, because I am going to be bringing Skrodrick along. Where's every? Oh, this. You know what? I this this isn't the right aircraft. No, this isn't the right aircraft. Guys, go to the other airplane. I need to switch to the other airplane. Yeah, that airplane. There. All right, Skrodrick. Yeah. So, part of this, a feature or not, however you want to look at it, is I'm going to be doing this without time acceleration. Actually, I think I'm going to put out a shorter episode. Why can't I get the ladder to extend? Wait, he's got to be closer. I got to get Skrodrick close. There. No. Come on. There. All right. Now we can get this started. All we got to do is get everybody on board. Okay, Skrodrick, please don't flip the studio over. There. All right, Shaggy B. Get out of the airplane. Climb down the ladder. Yeah. So, no time acceleration, which means I gotta find things to talk about, because I think it's gonna take me about, once I get everybody loaded, it's probably gonna take me about 45-50 minutes to get to Point Able, and that is our goal for today, is just to get to Point Able. And I'm going to be doing this at night because, well, it's just the right time to do it. All right, Vomit. Just climb down the ladder. Climb down the ladder. Oh, ow. You okay? Okay. Yeah. You sure you're okay? You don't have a concussion, do you? Well, he's fine. He's fine. So that is all of the Highway 47 crew. Now I just need to go back and get Bill, and we can be off towards the North Pole. All right. Bill, can you show us how it's done? Yeah, easy. Yeah. All right. So now that we've got everybody, I do have some RTGs on here to help power us, and I think that should be enough to get us to the North Pole. I have a good amount of batteries on here. I think we have almost 4,000 units of power. Don't forget to put up the ladder. Bill, why don't you come sit in the cockpit with me? All right. So, can I do the CVA until we get out of the KSC? There's Bill. Brakes. Are my brakes on? Having trouble turning my brakes off. Nope, my brakes are still on. Brakes are still on. I don't think my brakes are turning off. My brakes aren't turning off. I need some coffee. Oh, it's hot. Perfect. All right. So there are the bases. We're going to set Point Able as our target. And just start heading that way. All right. So there we are past the aircraft, and we're just going to go across the runway, and we are on our way towards the North Pole. Probably should have quick saved. Just in case. You know what? I'm gonna live dangerously. I'm not going to. Okay, I'm not gonna live dangerously. I thought about it, and I'm like, this is a lot to do. Yeah. I don't know why it quick saved twice. Just in case, I guess. I was trying to do the Alt F5 so you can name the quick save, and for some reason it's not working. I wonder if it's because I have my video recording app might be hijacking one of my buttons. That's okay. Not gonna need it, right? I wonder if future editor Dracofunk is laughing at me. So, I believe I'm going to have to be just to the left of target, because driving straight there, if I'm not wrong, part of the sea comes in, and if I head straight to the target, I'll drive right into the water, and I don't want to do that. I don't know how this rover would handle being in the water. Let's see. Everything looks good. Let's see. how much of the sea is there? Well, okay, I'm going to have to go a lot left. Turn left. Now, I don't want to turn too fast because that'll flip this over and that'll be bad. And I'd rather not flip this over. Yeah, I'm going to I have much more left. I think I'm already living dangerously because the route I chose. I want to also explain I am not the first person to attempt to drive a rover to the North Pole. And the other person I saw do it went on the eastern side of the mountain ridge, and I'm going to be going on the western side. And I don't know if that is going to be the best decision, but I'm going to have to live with it, and hopefully it will be okay. I'm going to try for as long as I can refrain from looking at the map to see how much further I have to go. At least for as long as possible. I know I'm going to eventually get antsy and want to look at it and see. I'm very goal oriented, which is why I kind of put the bases down, because if I just said I'm going to the North Pole and I started this, I might just be doing this. It would just one big task. If I break it down into a couple smaller tasks, like say make it to this point and then this point and then this point, it makes it a little less daunting. And I knew since I was going to be doing some loading of the rover plus docking with it, that I might want Point Able to be a little bit closer to the Space Center than, like, Point Able and Point Baker are a little bit further apart than Point Able is from the Space Center, just because I knew I was going to have to do that. And I want to keep these episodes around an hour-ish. I don't know how possible that will be, especially since I don't know, if there's going to be anything else. Now, I have tested this rover, and I don't think there's anything I need to be concerned about. And if there is, we can always pick up some spare parts or something at some of the upcoming bases. Actually, come to think of it, one thing I didn't do is I don't have any repair kits with me, which could be a problem. I'm trying to think, who's the engineer? Is it Skrodrick or Vomit, I think, is an engineer. And because these tires, if they get damaged, I need an engineer with a repair kit to fix them. And I don't think I have any repair kits, which That's probably asking for trouble. But hey, maybe they have some at one of the small bases that we have coming up. So all I have to do is make it to... They probably don't have any at Point Able, so I'm hopefully I can make it all the way to Point Baker without having any flat tires. Right? Yeah. Hey, so yesterday, Tuesday, November the 1st, SpaceX launched a Falcon Heavy for the first time in I think 2 years. And it was a Space Force classified launch, so we know that it was launching 2 satellites. And I think it was launched to geosynchronous orbit. I do know that the side boosters were recovered, but the middle booster they never planned on recovering it. They were going to expend it just to get the extra Delta V flight time out of it. So that booster was never planned on being recovered. They have yet to successfully recover all 3 boosters from a Falcon Heavy, I believe. That they've recovered the side boosters multiple times, but the core booster they've never successfully recovered, which the time before this, if I'm not wrong, they actually landed the booster on the ship, but due to weather conditions and rough seas, they think they lost the booster en route back to Cape Canaveral. Somebody should correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I would love to hear any of your comments. And hey, if you haven't actually subscribed to us, go ahead and do that now and hit that like button, and you can hit the bell if you want to know when we upload stuff. I've been uploading at least one Kerbal Space Program video a week, and this is part of my Save for My Reusable Space Program, where I attempt to be as efficient as possible, recover all my boosters, and not be wasteful by... I say technically I'm recovering my fairings, although there's not a way to do that in Kerbal Space Program. But since Elon Musk can do it, I figure the Kerbals can also do it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be using fairings. I didn't actually use fairings until recently. All my boosters have parachutes on them, and let me be honest, I haven't been 100% reusable. We've had some things explode. We had one ship, we had a tragedy where 2 Kerbals were lost when the mining ship, something on the mining ship overheated and the whole ship exploded. It was a very sad day. There was a funeral. Look down in the comments and I will have a link to the Kerbal funeral I had for them. We have had a couple other small accidents where ships were heavily damaged or practically destroyed, but I've only lost 2 Kerbals to the overheating accident, which was a freak accident. Nobody's to blame. but it did happen. The other mining ship also somehow it it fell apart. I'm not exactly sure what happened. Well, actually, there were two accidents with it. One of them where one of the tanks with a rocket engine was a little bit too close to another craft, and when I undocked it, the tank went flying off. But I still landed it and performed one more mining mission. It landed on Minmus, flew back up to the space station where it docked, and there was an oscillating issue, I think, where multiple SAS units were interacting with each other, and the mining ship shook itself apart. And it wasn't good. Let me just put it that way. But I have landed it back at the Space Center, or at least what was left of it. And the Kerbal engineers will put it back together again. I think I should rename it Humpty Dumpty, although they weren't able to put Humpty Dumpty back together, so maybe that's not a good name. Or maybe it is. Who knows? Do you know? If you know, put a message in the comments. You know, we don't get a lot of comments, and it would be great to get some more comments. But hey, what else do we do here on Highway 47? Me and Shaggy B are currently watching Season 3 of Star Trek Lower Decks. Me, Shaggy B, and Scrodrick are currently watching Season 3 of The Orville. We've actually almost completed that. I think this week, episode 7 will come out. And I don't know if this will come out before episode 3 of Lower Decks comes out or not. We're also watching Star Trek the Animated Series, although we'll probably finish Season 3 of the Lower Decks before we get back to the Animated Series. We are also making our way through all the Marvel movies, although we kind of took a month off of that to do our Halloween specials. So if you like watching Halloween movies, we watch some. And the way those work are, we'll do a little short intro, and we'll give a idea of what version we're watching. Sometimes we watch it on Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, CBS, Paramount Plus. That one's the Star Trek stuff has switched around. It's really confusing. We've added services and dropped services, and yeah. But sometimes we watch it on DVD. If it is an older movie and is in the public domain, we may watch it off of archive.org. If we do that, we will leave a link in the description. We've also watched some lower budget movies that are actually just available on YouTube. We try and watch an ad-free version, because if there were ads in it, they may not be the same ads you're watching, and that'd be really hard to sync up with. But however we watch it, we give a 5-second countdown, and then you start your video along with us, and you can listen to us talk while you watch your movie. We've been doing this now for a while. We have all of Season 1 and 2 of Star Trek The Next Generation. we do eventually plan on doing season 3. We're a little bit behind. We've done Star Trek Picard season 1 and 2. We've made it all the way through season 1 and 2 of the Orville, and most of season 3. As I said, we're watching that right now. Season 1 and 2 of Star Trek Lower Decks. If you like Godzilla movies, we watched all the Godzilla movies, as well as the Singular Point series. Vomit's probably yelling at me right now about something that I've forgotten. We also did some of the how do I say, other movies of the I call them the kaiju genre, the big monsters. The one that we haven't done, and I'm sad that we haven't done it yet, but it might be something we have to wait till we get through all the Marvel movies, which that it's probably going to take us at least until the end of next year before we actually get caught up with all the Marvel movies current. And then once we get caught up, they're still making these movies at not just the movies, the TV series, at a very high rate. And I don't just mean we're watching the MCU movies. We're watching all the Marvel movies. And we started with the very first theatrical release movie based off a Marvel property, which was Howard the Duck. Now, we do most of these with the full crew. We call it the 4-drink minimum. So we are all adults drinking adult beverages. It doesn't necessarily have to be an adult beverage. We do give room for if maybe one of us isn't feeling well or has something to do in the morning or the next day, where it'd probably be a bad idea if we were hungover. It's not like you have to drink, or maybe we're just choosing not to drink that night. Who knows it? And the 4-drink minimum isn't a rule. It is, but it isn't. So 4 drinks can be whatever 4 drinks you want, and if you don't want to participate, you don't have to. There doesn't have to be any pressure. It's just all good fun. Where are we? Oh man. We should be theoretically around halfway there. I don't know if I want to check yet, because as soon as I check, then I know. And do I want to know? I don't know. Anyway, so we started with Howard the Duck in the Marvel movies, and occasionally, if there's a movie where we all want to be present for, we'll do what's called a detour, where we go back and pick up one of the non-theatrical release Marvel movies, or we may watch a different movie for another reason, because we feel like it, because, we just do what we want. So, for instance, we did 4 Halloween movies. We watched Cabin in the Woods, Get Out, Communion, and Dracula AD. Now, we had planned on watching Tucker and Dale, and for some reason that week our bots that we normally use to record our audio failed. We use two different bots, so we have two recordings, so we have the main and then a backup. And we didn't realize it until after the fact that both bots failed that night. They only recorded about 50 seconds of audio, and some Friday nights we'll actually record 2 episodes. So we'll record, like that night we recorded an Orville episode, and then we also recorded the movie Tucker and Dale. And so we use 2 different bots, and then we also use another recording that we each do on our computers. And I had to revert to that, which I haven't had to do for a long time, but that's okay because we had them for the Orville episode. However, for the Tucker and Dale episode, one of our audios recorded a whole lot of silence, and I'm not going to say who it was, and it wasn't necessarily his fault. It's just something that happened. And you know, these things happen, and we lost all of his audio. And you know, we were all upset about that, but we didn't feel right releasing the episode without any of his commentary. So we added, upon suggestion from one of our subscribers, Dracofunk, we decided to record Dracula AD. And that actually, that came out last Friday. I'm going to drink some more of this coffee. But the episode of Tucker and Dale was, well, it's going into it's one of our lost files. We have a couple movies that we have watched and never released. One of which, like, technically our very first Highway 47 episode we did kind of as a test. We will probably never release it. I'm not even going to say the title. But we did it. Our first official release was Encounter at Farpoint, the pilot episode of Star Trek The Next Generation. And that's kind of how we started our channel. We did a couple movies as holiday specials. We've actually already recorded our Thanksgiving Day special. I probably shouldn't be giving that up. I gotta check the map. Okay. We are not as close as I hoped we'd be, but we're not as far away as I was afraid we were. So we're doing okay. I'm gonna say we're about 15 minutes away. So that means I have to think of things to talk about for another 15 minutes. Well, if you are just watching this and haven't seen any of my other Kerbal Space Program videos, that's okay. You don't have to watch them. This whole save was based on my attempt to recreate Scott Manley's reusable space program. Honestly, he did a much better job and is probably a lot more entertaining than me. And that's okay. I love Scott Manley. If you don't know who Scott Manley is, I can't believe you're watching a Kerbal Space Program video and you don't know who Scott Manley is. But he's like he was the Kerbal Space Program YouTube video. He doesn't do as much Kerbal Space Program now. I mean, this game is 11 years old, and I don't know why I'm still playing it, but it's honestly, it's that good of, it's just a great game, and I enjoy it. But this was my attempt to recreate that because I always wanted to do it. And this is kind of giving me the chance to do that, and I'm putting it on YouTube because why not? And I would love for more people to watch it and be entertained with it as least as much as I am, but I'm going to do it anyway. So I have attempted to recreate that. I built a relay network. I started doing it all in the correct order and then promptly forgot about it. I have built 3 space stations, one in orbit of Kerbal, one in orbit of the Mun, one in orbit of Minmus. I have a mining operation that is sending fuel back to the Kerbal Space Station. And it is an ongoing mission where we mine from the surface of the moon. Okay, this is why I keep slowing down. I have ran out of electricity. My RTGs aren't able to keep up, and this part of Kerbal is I'm traveling mostly uphill. I was hoping this wouldn't be a problem since I have a lot of batteries in there. So it's just under 4,000 units of electricity I can store. And my 6 RTGs are not enough to keep up with the demand of going uphill. I'm pretty close to. Well, I'm going to. What am I going to do? Can I see the other base? Oh, I can still see the Space Center. Can't really see the base. Well, that's okay. Just gonna mess around here for a minute, see if I can actually see it doing a slow flyover. And now I'm on. No. Hey guys, this is Dracofunk again, and by Dracofunk, this is later Dracofunk. And the reason I say later Dracofunk is I did not realize that my audio had cut out about this time, so I'm having to go back and redo the recording. So, where are we? This appears to be the spot where I had stopped and was doing the slide. Yeah, so that'll probably be the image on the slide right there. Yeah. So I'm not quite sure what I was talking about. I do know, well, I already know how this episode ends, but you don't. So I'm just going to keep it my secret. So right now I am struggling because I'm going up. It's uphill all the way to Point Able. See, that's what happened. My recording cut out and I can't talk anymore. I'm out of coffee now because I finished it while we were doing the other recording, and now I don't have any, and that makes me sad. But that's okay. We're gonna soldier on just like we are with this rover. We are at 490 meters above sea level and climbing, which is a problem because my 6 RTGs that I have on this rover are not recharging my batteries faster than I am using them. So getting up this hill is a problem. I thought almost 4,000 units, it's actually 3,800 and something units of electricity would be enough, but I am wrong. So if you look at this rover design, in front of all the couplers are some batteries. Beneath the Highway 47 studio is a battery. On the side of the Highway 47 studio are some batteries. On the side of the rover are some more batteries. And I really thought that amount of batteries would be enough, coupled with the 6 RTGs. But it is not. And I'm struggling to get up this hill, and I feel like I am so close to Point Able, but it's just not enough. I'm using more electricity than I'm generating. I'm so close. I'm only like maybe 3 to 5 kilometers away, but I can't maintain any speed going uphill. I keep thinking if I can just get over this next hill, maybe I'll be able to make it. I'd really like to average about 22 meters per second, which, by the way, 22 meters per second, 22, 23, that's around 50 miles an hour. I feel like that's a decent speed. That's actually really fast for driving over unpaved terrain. And it does pose a slight danger if I come over a hill too fast that I'll actually get airborne, which in itself isn't a problem, except if I land too hard, it could damage these tires. And I think I said earlier, I don't have any repair kits with me. I will probably need to make sure I pick up a repair kit at one of these bases later, but I don't have any at Point Able. Although I could always do a supply mission where I fly anything I need out to one of the waypoints. Or it doesn't necessarily have to be at the waypoint. I could just fly to the rover, which, if something breaks before I make it to one of the bases, I may have to do. I would prefer not to, but there isn't a Kerbal version of AAA. I guess I could make a Kerbal version of AAA. AKA. Automotive Kerbal Association. Yeah, AKA. I think that's what we'll call it. If some of you are thinking of calling it something else, that's just a bad idea, and we're not even going to go there. I'm going to stop right here, shut off all the lights, and try and recharge the batteries, because I know I'm close. I'm so close. I'm just so close. If I can get about 400 units of electricity, I think I can make it. At least that's what that is what my old self was thinking. I know what happens. All the Kerbals in there. Skrodric is just like, this is fine. This is fine. Out of all the things that were going to go wrong on this trip, electricity was not one of the things I was worried about, but I guess I should have been. My biggest concern was that I would crash. And yeah, that I would crash. And I'm still slightly concerned, especially on one of the northern portions of this trip, that driving just beyond the northern mountain range, that the terrain is going to be pretty brutal. Right there, I'm only turning one headlight on, and it just doesn't seem to matter. I'm just using so much electricity just to get over these hills. We're now at 600 meters above sea level and still climbing. I should have made a note of how the elevation of Point Able, but I didn't. 630 meters above sea level and climbing, and averaging about 10 to 12 meters per second, which it's about 25 miles an hour. I don't remember what I talked about here. I had something to talk about. I probably forgot most of what I was going to talk about because I started really concentrating on paying attention to how much electricity I was using. But that's okay. The audio of that is lost forever in the abyss. And I should probably check and make sure that I am still recording audio. I am, which is good, because that's what I forgot to check and make sure of last time. Actually, I did check it a couple times. I just forgot to check it at the end because I started focusing on how I was running out of power. And it's not that I'm just running out of power, it's I'm running out of momentum as well. Because if I can keep my momentum up, I don't even have to use power to keep driving. I can just coast. But this is like constantly uphill. 655 meters. A little bit of downhill, but not enough to matter. And I can see off in the distance I have to go up another hill before I can reach this first base that I have deposited, which I believe this is the shortest jaunt we have to make. So I need to make sure that we are fully tanked up on electricity before we set out on the next segment. And yeah, we're almost right on top of it. Ooh, that was the wrong elevation to be at. So, hey, we do have a Patreon. Feel free to donate to it, and I'll give you a shout out. Like right now, if we had people who have donated to our Patreon, I would totally put your name on your screen right here. But I don't have any names to put on. But that's okay. It's not a big deal. We would like people to donate to our Patreon. That'd be great. Hey, there it is. Point Able. We've made it. I can't believe that. Wow, this video is going to end up being just under an hour. I do want to get to the other side of the base. So the design of this rover, with all the designing it more like a land train, it doesn't exactly turn on a dime, but that's okay. This is actually performed better than I expected. It seems pretty stable, and stability is always a good thing. I don't think there's cause for me to be extremely maneuverable, but yeah, so we made it. This is Point Able, and this was been our 60 subscriber special segment 1. I'm going to be doing this in probably 9 segments, hopefully, unless it all goes wrong. Hey, thanks for all the new subscribers, and let's just keep going. Maybe we can make it to 70 subscribers by the end of the year. Thanks, guys. I'm Dracofunk, and I'll see you next time.